All right, let's talk about financial leverage. You've probably heard this term thrown around, right? It's often painted as this magic key to unlocking huge wealth. But, and this is a big but, it's also one of the most dangerous tools in all of finance. So what is it, really? We're going to break it all down. What it is, how it works, and maybe most importantly, how you can use it without getting totally burned.
You see it all the time, don't you? People buying these amazing, expensive homes, and you just know they don't have $500,000 sitting in the bank. So how do they do it? It's not some secret lottery win. It's the power of financial leverage. And believe it or not, this is the very same engine behind some of the world's biggest fortunes, and it's way more accessible than you might think.
To really get our heads around this, we're going to borrow a word from German, Hebel. It just means lever. I want you to picture that for a second. You know, a simple tool that lets you move something massive, like a giant boulder, with just a little bit of your own strength. Well, that's exactly what financial leverage does for your money.
So what is it in simple terms? Financial leverage is basically using other people's money, usually a loan from a bank, to buy an asset you couldn't afford on your own. And why would you do that? The goal is to generate a profit that is way, way bigger than what your own cash could have ever made by itself.
Let's stick with that lever analogy. Think about it like this. Your own money, your capital, that's the small amount of force you apply to one end of the lever. It's your push. But with that one little push, you suddenly get to control a much, much larger asset. That's the heavy weight on the other side. A little bit of your money controls a whole lot of something else. And this is where things get really exciting. Because when you use the lever correctly, you can absolutely supercharge your returns. See, it's not just about buying bigger things. It's about making the money you actually have work exponentially harder for you. Let's see exactly how that plays out.
Okay, check out this super simple real estate example. On the left, let's say you buy a $100,000 property with all your own cash. On the right, you use the Hebel. You put down just $20,000 of your own money and borrow the other $80,000. Now watch this. Let's say the property value goes up by $20,000 in both scenarios. The profit, in pure dollars, is identical, 20 grand. But the return on your investment, that's where the magic is.
So, without leverage, that $20,000 profit on your $100,000 investment, that's a nice solid 20% return, not bad. But with leverage, that same $20,000 profit was made on just $20,000 of your money. And that, my friends, is a staggering 100% return on your investment. Incredible, right?
But here's the thing. Every great power comes with great risk. A lever that can lift incredible weights can also come crashing down with incredible force. The exact same mechanism that blows up your gains, well, it can do the exact same thing to your losses.
I mean, it seems a little too good to be true, doesn't it? 100% return. That sounds absolutely amazing. So you got to ask yourself, okay, what's the catch? Well, the catch is that markets don't always go up.
So let's flip this around. Same scenario, but this time the property value falls by $20,000. For the all-cash buyer, that's a 20% loss. It hurts, for sure, but it's manageable. But for the person who used the leverage, that $20,000 loss is absolutely catastrophic. You see, they still owe the bank the full $80,000, but their entire initial investment is completely gone, wiped out, a negative 100% return. Every single penny of that $20,000 you put in has vanished. This is the brutal, unforgiving reality of leverage. It's an amplifier. It amplifies everything, for better or for worse.
And this brings us to probably the most important point of all. When people get into deep trouble with leverage, it's almost never because the tool itself is bad. It's because they're using it wrong. They are quite literally pushing the lever at the wrong spot.
Let's just let that sink in for a second. The problem isn't the tool, it's the user's strategy. So the real key to success here isn't avoiding the tool, it's understanding exactly where and how to push that lever.
So, what does pushing at the wrong spot actually mean in the real world? It means being over-leveraged. It's borrowing so much money that even a tiny dip in the asset's value completely wipes you out. It means not having the cash reserves to make your loan payments if things go sideways. It's really just a failure to plan for the downside.
Okay, so if we know what not to do, what's the right way to think about this? How can we use this powerful Hebel to build wealth without risking total financial ruin? Well, it all comes down to a few core principles.
So how do we do this smartly? First, and this is huge, you've got to focus way more on the downside than the upside. Be obsessed with what you could lose. Second, the golden rule. Never, ever invest money you can't afford to lose completely. If 100% loss would wreck you, just don't do it. Third, Make absolutely sure you have stable cash flow to cover those loan payments no matter what the investment is doing. And finally, match the right kind of loan to the right kind of asset. A long-term mortgage for a house makes sense. A high-interest credit card for a speculative bet? Probably not a great idea.
At the end of the day, that's all financial leverage is. It's just a tool. It's like a hammer. You can use it to build something incredible, or you can cause some serious damage. The outcome depends entirely on you, the user. It's not a shortcut to wealth. It is an amplifier. It will magnify your financial decisions, good or bad. So the only real question left is, what will you choose to amplify?